Today, our conversation is all about hope, healing, and transformation in the lives of women when they are at their most vulnerable. You're going to absolutely love this one, all through faith and grace, as we are here with Grace Collective. Join us. Welcome back to the Brig Podcast, where we celebrate nonprofits and the good they do in our community. Today, we get to talk about the power of transformation, finding hope and belonging, and opening doors of opportunity for the most vulnerable in our community, women who experience domestic violence, addiction, and exploitation. We are celebrating Grace Collective with Amanda Lorraine, director and co-founder, and Satara, who has personally experienced this journey. Whether you're looking for hope, someone passionate about serving others, or simply someone who believes in the power of people helping people, I think you're going to find a really meaningful conversation in this, and we're excited to be here. Let me introduce our guests. First, we have Amanda Lorraine. She is co-founder and executive director of Grace Collective. I'm not going to get too much into her story because she is going to share it with her own words, which you're going to just absolutely love, but we're so excited she's here with us. And then we also get Satara with us today. She is a graduate of Grace Collective, 33 years old, mom of 2 boys and 1 stepson, a family of a bunch of boys, so lucky. And she is the life and jobs coach of Grace Collective, and also very much a community advocate and connector in there. And she wears so many hats that, again, we're going to hopefully get into as well. And she's going to share her story as well. So I'm not going to get into that here. But Amanda, let's start with you. Could you, and it's actually wherever you want to start, if you want to start with your story or if you want to start with Grace Collective or intertwine the two, I'm going to just let you start telling your story.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for having us on the podcast today.
Oh, our pleasure.
In the investment from Just Serve, as well as the Giving Machine. It's just been a tremendous blessing to walk alongside you on this journey at Grace Collective. So Grace Collective, we offer hope, healing, and opportunity for lasting change to women survivors of deep poverty and exploitation. We provide holistic care and paid sanctuary employment so women can restore what trauma is broken, rebuild stability, and move towards full-time living wage employment. Through this model at Grace Collective, women, they gain the support, the income, the skills, and the confidence needed to rise into freedom for themselves and their children. We envision a world where every woman is free from poverty and exploitation, where they are heard, protected, restored through a safe community, which is what we offer, and rising with stability, purpose, and freedom. How Grace Collective got started really birthed out of my own personal journey of meeting Jesus in my 20s, and then starting to work out my own healing along the way. We're all on this journey with God together, and He's certainly taking me on a very exciting journey. And so when I moved here in 2014 to the Tri-Cities, I just started walking alongside women who had similar stories as my own, who had experienced incarceration, addiction, human trafficking, exploitation, gang violence. And as I started walking alongside those women, I noticed some patterns that they were getting some services, and these services are incredible in our community that are offered. But unfortunately, the women were going back to the streets and back to a trafficker and back to addiction. And they weren't getting out of the destructive cycles that they were stuck in. So I just started praying and dreaming about, Lord, how can I come alongside these women in a bigger way? I had no idea how that was going to happen, but I just prayed this prayer for 8 years. And I just kept serving these women and walking alongside these girls that were just pushed to the margins of our society, who didn't have a voice and just wanted somebody to walk alongside them and be a friend. And then in 2020, God really brought that vision to fruition when we were able to start this Sanctuary Holistic Job Training Program.
So 2020, that's not very long ago for how big of an organization I am now walking into today. I was lucky enough to get to see you guys in action last Thursday with your outreach program, I believe. And you guys were hopping. I mean, your building is full of women from every walk of life. One of the things that I just absolutely love that I am still smiling about is your tables were busy doing things, and I actually don't want to pretend like I understood everything that was going on in the room, but it was busy, it was productive. Women were communicating with each other, connecting with each other, and not being alone in the room. And it was happy. It was such a happy room.
Yes.
Did I read it right?
That is, you did read it right. These are tables of grace in this space. And there's so much healing in the context of a safe community where we're gathering around these tables, creating these beautiful artisan products made by women survivors. And maybe they're walking in for the first time and they're living on the streets, but they're invited to a table of grace, connected with some of our amazing advocates like Satara and some of our volunteer mentors. And they are just seen and heard and loved that day. And immediately they're integrated into this sisterhood, this family, and this community. And they're making these products and they're looking down and saying, wow, I just made something beautiful. Mm-hmm. I get to be a part of paving the way for women to find freedom.
And that word grace is so significant. What does it mean to you?
Yeah, so grace to us is this belief that no story is beyond the redemption of God. I love this quote by Corrie ten Boom, and I say it to myself almost every day as I see these girls that are on the streets. And maybe you've seen them when you're driving your car and you're going, oh my goodness, there's no hope for this person. They're too far gone. Look at them. They're talking to themselves. They're pushing a shopping cart, but there's no pit too deep that God's love is not deeper still, says Corrie ten Boom as she survived the Nazi concentration camps. And so grace here at Grace Collective is choosing to see people the way God sees them, in the Imago Dei, made in his image. Women are not defined by what they've done. We actually say, not what did you do, but what happened to you to bring you to these circumstances, to the addiction, the trauma. And then grace is speaking life into these women. Ephesians 2:10 says, we are God's workmanship. We are God's masterpiece, created in Christ Jesus for good works, which God has prepared in advance for us to walk into these gifts. And the reality of sin in this broken world has shattered some of that for these women, but they're still made in the image of God. And the enemy's tried to take that from them. And grace is restoring what's been broken through this community of women, through all of us together, collectively doing this work.
It's the perfect word.
It is a perfect word.
Oh. So 2020, you have this sort of vision idea. You see a need in the community. You're already out there serving these women in these hard moments, but then you see the need. I'm going to put it in my own words, but you tell me if I'm getting it right, that it helps them in the moment, but then there's no path for them to move forward, and so they go back to where they were. Do I have that correct? And so you saw the need of, how do we get them going out of that path?
Yes, because what I saw over those years is what they really needed is somebody to truly walk alongside them.
I love it.
The wonderful resources that our community provides, the food and the diapers and all those things we absolutely need. And these are critical resources. But there is a difference when you are able to walk alongside someone every single day for 18 months. This is true discipleship. This is what Jesus did with his disciples. This is how the whole world was changed. It's a radical model where we get to walk with these women every day and have the opportunity to speak into their life about money, about sex, about parenting, about addiction, and really just create this atmosphere, these tables of grace, and also just so many opportunities for conversations on how to break generational cycles of abuse and poverty and addiction and exploitation in families for women and children.
So, such a huge organization already in such a short amount of time. What are some of the things that you do offer to the women that come here? Do you ever have to talk them into it? Do they find you? Do they have to, will you speak to some of that? What are some of the struggles? Or I might be jumping ahead too. We can also talk about the baby steps of how you got started if you wanted to. The conversation can go where you want. But that's what I'm sitting here thinking. In my low moments as a wife and mom and woman, and my life is so sun-kissed. I have to talk myself into that I'm of value at times, and I can't imagine. Sorry, forgive me.
That's okay.
That's a rough thing. Why as women do we do that? Not value ourselves. Sorry, I don't know where that came from.
No, I think
Moving
it's
on.
beautiful, and I want to answer that question.
Please do.
For you. It's because we don't understand just the dignity and the value. And God said in Genesis, what I have made is very good. And to go be fruitful and multiply doesn't just mean only having children. It means that God's given us gifts and talents and dreams that only we have, that only you have, Krista, only Satara has. Nobody else has what you have to offer the world. And God said, this is my daughter, and she is very good. And when we even identify ourselves less than that, less than the value of the God of the universe actually placed on us, we're basically telling God, oh, did you make junk here, God? No, he doesn't make junk. He makes beautiful things. And he made us, and he said, this is very good. And so we just need to partner and believe God and his word, what he already said about us. And we just forget that. The enemy loves to tell us different.
Oh, yeah, he can be a real jerk. So 2020, I'm going to go back. 2020, and now you have a thriving nonprofit where you are serving women like crazy. How many women did you help last year? Are there any stats you would like to tell us? And then I do want to bring in Satara,
yes,
for sure, and hear her story. And please join in anytime, Satara. I don't mean to leave you out of it at all.
Yes, I want Satara to have a big part of this podcast.
For sure.
So I want to go back to the miracle of Grace Collective.
Please.
That as I just started taking these steps of obedience, they were not huge, brave, bold steps. They were just just say yes to whatever God has in front of you and be faithful in the moments where he puts you. And that's what I think is just like the secret sauce to a life of obedience with Jesus and seeing him just do miraculous things.
The secret sauce, just say yes.
Just say yes. Mm-hmm. Just say yes to whatever
I
God calls
it.
you to do. And be paying attention in the moments where he has you in these spaces. So as I was serving the women, I saw this building, and not that I heard the audible voice of God, but it just a still small spirit saying, that's a good building. It's right near the women's shelter. I had been praying for a building that was close to the women's shelter and accessible on a bus line with a commercial kitchen. This building had that, so I just decided I would call the owners and ask them to give me the building. And they said yes. They sold us the building for $10, and we took ownership of an 8,200 square foot 1913 historic building. And God specifically answered our prayer when we said we wanted to be close to the women's shelter. We are 20 feet from the women's shelter and right on a bus line in downtown Pasco, where we are meeting the most critical needs in the city of vulnerable women. So praise God for what he has done. It is absolutely miraculous.
Could not be more perfect.
And it is a window into his heart that as we step into these yeses where we're serving those who are pushed to the margins, God's just going to say, I'm going to open the doors. I'm going to open the doors. I'm going to provide. And that's how we've grown so quick. It is all Jesus. It is all God just expanding our resources and providing the opportunities. But also, it's a lot of us saying yes, walking in obedience, and it hasn't been easy. No. This has been a hard, beautiful, holy, messy journey of grace.
I heard someone recently use the term that motherhood is brutally beautiful. And I've had that phrase in my head a little bit, yeah. But Satara, I want to bring you in because at one point you said yes.
Yes.
And walked through a door. And I would love for you to join our conversation and share your story.
Yeah. So my journey to Grace Collective was actually a very unknown destination. I was fleeing a domestic relationship. I was being abused. And so I actually ran out of town for security and safety. And I heard about this homeless shelter. My town did not have one. And so when I came here, I was like, okay, I just had a suitcase. Let's get myself into a shelter. And, I'm going through the steps and all the things. And I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I only know to be mistreated, misvalued, and taken advantage of. That's all I know. I only know addiction and hardship. And, that's all I know. And so I was like, you know what? There's a abandoned building. That's what it looked like to me from the outside. There's an abandoned building right next door. I'm going to park here. I'm going to message somebody, to come pick me up. And I'm sitting there and I'm just hiding myself from this big, me and my suitcase were the same size. And I'm hiding, from my suitcase. And I hear steps and all this. I'm like, oh gosh, there's people in this building. And like within seconds, Devin, Amanda's husband, he's our culinary director. He comes out, asks, hey, are you okay? Is there anything I can do for you? And in the kindest way I can say, I told him, no, thank you, go away. It wasn't so kind at the time. Sure. And he said, okay, that's fine. And he went back in and he actually came back outside and offered me a bottle of water and said, I don't know what your plans are, but if you do plan on staying in the shelter, I'd like to invite you here on Thursday. I'd like to give you an opportunity for a job. And I just thought, wow, if I take this opportunity, like maybe I can see my kids, maybe I can have a relationship where my mother has enough trust in me that I can at least see them over video, anything. So I said yes. It was the next right thing for me at the time. I said yes. And so, yeah, I checked into the shelter and I came here 2 days later for the outreach day, and I was just in shock because I have never in my life have experienced so many people just like so happy to see me. And I'm like, you don't even know me. You don't know where I've been. You don't know who I am. You don't know what I've done. And it was just such an amazing experience to have. Yeah. Just, sorry, just give me a second. Just,
No apologies needed.
It was the first time in my life that I actually felt like valued and seen. And I didn't know at the time, like, this is how God sees me. And so it took me a while, to get, to believe that. But as the time has gone on, that's who I am every morning that I wake up and every night that I go to bed. And so, yeah, I have tremendous gratitude and respect for the program that I'm in because it saved my life. It saved me from myself. It saved me from every aspect that I had been in. And then I get to see it every single day, Yesterday, we just housed a refugee woman and her children who was on the streets. And it was a long, hard day. Yeah. And I'm like, praise God. I'm walking out to my car. Praise God. She has somewhere to stay with her kids tonight. And it was just, wow, those that happens every day. Every day. And it, Amanda's right, is not easy. It is hard, but it's work. It's work that we owe each other, I feel like.
Oh, we owe each other.
Yeah.
I'm going to think about that too for a little bit. So you went through the 18-month program.
Yes.
Was that daunting at first to think about, or do you just sort of like, I'm just worrying about today?
So at the time, we had not really discussed how long it was going to be. When I first came,
because you were really at the beginning of
yes,
things.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
When I first came, we had just opened in 2020. I came December 21st or 2021. So I was like within the first year, I was like the 8th woman to actually join the program. And so at that time, it was like, stay as long as you need. These are the goals that we'll work on, all the things. And so, yeah, it was just different. Like I said, I came in here and I had like no skills, no nothing for productivity. And I walked out with a bank account and all of these things. I learned how to adult, I got my license. And just, yeah, it at the time I wasn't looking towards how's this time going to be. It was just, what's today going to be like? And every day was a lot easier and easier for me.
How do you get out of survival mode? It's a real thing.
Yeah.
How are there tricks that you found or reassurances you found, or is that too weird a question? I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a weird question.
I think it just becomes easier. I wouldn't say that I have gotten out of survival mode. I think it just becomes quite easier, especially with a group of people surrounding you and supporting you and advocating for you. It just becomes easier to manage.
Is it helpful to be around people that honestly understand?
Yeah. When I first got in, like I got to hear Amanda's story, Devin's story. Everyone.
Did it build trust right away?
100%.
Interesting.
Just like because you go to these you go to counseling and they've never experienced it, so you're like, what do you know? Or you go to treatment, they've never experienced it, so what do you know? But then you have these people who are directing you and guiding you, supporting you, and they're like, I literally was exactly where you are. And so yeah, you build rapport, and we call it relational rent here. And so then you start to respect when they say, hey, let's work on this. I see this being a skill of yours, but let's work on it a little bit more. And you start to grow. And yeah.
I'm going to jump in with two unexpected questions, but they're in my head as we are talking. One is, it is very clear how much God and the spiritual just permeates the walls of this building that we are in. It's everywhere. Does someone need to even believe in God to walk through your doors?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I hope when they walk in this space, they are going to experience the presence of God without us saying a word, because of the grace they are offered and the love they receive.
So that is not a requirement to walk through the doors?
Never.
Awesome.
We get to witness it, though. I'm telling you, we see it a lot. We see people come in that are like, no, and we're like, okay, that's fine. And then they're right there in their Bible,
Yeah.
They'll swear up and down that they don't want any part of it, and that's fine. We're totally okay with it. I mean, I was like that too. and now it's like you see them just 100% in it, asking questions, like, and then you can see them putting up on their visible bulletin board, like how their life is matching this, and it's really cool.
Yeah, we've even had, I've been giving tours to like business partners and things, and them walking through these spaces, and I'm sharing the stories, and I'm just sharing, hey, this is a story, this is my faith journey. I don't know if faith is important to you, but this is my own story, and if you can resonate with this, that's great. It's okay if you don't. But by the time they are walking out the doors, they're crying, and they're saying, I haven't been to church in a long time. I haven't talked to God in a long time, but I felt the Spirit of God here, and I got to figure this out. I have heard that so many times over the last 6 years.
I am loving, on top of everything else that Grace Collective can offer when someone hurting walks through the door, I am loving that you're also offering them choice and autonomy and not forcing any sort of anything on them. It's just this open door of opportunity.
Yeah, and it is, and it's also trauma-informed care. We take that very seriously here. We are a gospel ministry, but we believe in trauma-informed care. And Satara and I talk about this all the time, that there's real brain science on the studies of survival and the neural pathways that need to be rewired in our brains in order to truly change over time. And so we are very invested in the work of trauma-informed care and mental health and counseling and those resources that we offer to the women.
Will you speak to some of those resources? What is offered specifically?
So we have in-house counseling available to the women in our program. We also do daily community healing circles. You can call them Bible studies, but these are opportunities for the women to just share space in a safe circle. Often I'll ask the question, how does it feel to be you today?
Oh, that's a good one.
And, just paying attention to how we're showing up with our bodies. Just as we started this podcast today,
Sure.
We'll do some practicing of just contemplative practices of just silence and solitude, paying attention to our bodies, how we're showing up. We know our stress is showing up in so many different ways, and so often we're running so fast we don't pay attention to those things. So just slowing down really does help us heal, and we always feel better together.
Yeah, and all of we're 100% survivor led, and all of our staff members here have been able to go through all the trauma training through Atlas free, and so we're all trauma informed certified through levels 1 and 4, and then some, which has just been such a tool to be able to communicate to the women, because everybody shows up differently, and so just being able to have that.
Yeah, also certified in mental health first aid,
Yes.
and just crisis response and de-escalation, and all of those tools that you that you need to operate at this capacity, serving the amount of women we're serving.
Because I'm assuming at the end of an 18-month program, nothing is cured, but hopefully the framework is set in place to move forward successfully through it. Does that sound right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, when they're nearing their graduation, they have learned their life and job skills. Around, month 6, 7, they're saying, this is what I want to do. We're like, what's your forever job? What job what's your dream job? And a lot of them want to do the work that we're doing. They want to do advocacy. They want to do peer support. And the great thing about that is just have lived experience. They're already in with it. And so, they're doing their trainings and all the things. And so we've gotten them a job. They're making, livable wages and benefits and all the things for them to survive.
And like you said earlier, maybe the first time ever their own checking account.
Oh, 100%. That happens literally all the time. Like
That's
all the
amazing.
time. No, they're
That
like,
has to feel very empowering.
oh yeah.
That your money is going into your checking account and only you have it.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes, very
Continue.
empowering.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Yeah. And so when they're when they're approaching graduation, we know they have that job. We've spoken to the employer. They have a start date, and then we celebrate them when they're allowed to invite whoever they want. We celebrate them, and it's a great thing, and then they become a graduate, and then once they're a graduate, they get to check in once a month with the graduates, and it's amazing. We always stay in touch with everybody. We have a group chat, and it's just really awesome. A lot of them will come in on Thursday and just see the newbies and, just offer that support.
Yeah, that's what's so beautiful about the sisterhood is our graduates their lives has been so deeply transformed, and we're still all on the journey together. None of us are going to be fully healed until we get to heaven with Jesus, and he fully heals us because we're living in a sin-sick world, and we're going to battle our sin till the day we die. But these graduates, they are the best advocates in our city. And so we say that we believe restoration isn't a single moment. It's a journey of being met with the dignity and the grace and the truth and the mercy and the consistent support until every woman is heard. So we say at Grace Collective that we really are a lifelong sisterhood for our graduates. We're a family. And we keep growing. Our family's growing.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
We are huge. And the cool thing too is it's not just, the graduate, like it's the graduate and their children. Like our children are friends with their children, and they have like, me and another one of the staff members, our 2 children have grown up together since being in this program, They met each other at age 8, and now they're going to middle school together, and it's just like they're very close. We hang out on weekends, and so it's a family, and it happens a lot with these graduates. So it's just a great opportunity, to watch your sister, have a baby and all these things. It's just so beautiful.
Oh, I just love it. Sorry, I'm just sitting here smiling. Satara, I'm going to go to you.
Yeah.
It can either be current or in the past you're going, was there a specific relationship? Was there someone that you were so proud to bring here and say, look what I'm doing? Or was it scary because you're putting yourself in a vulnerable place out there? I'm trying something. Does that make sense what I'm asking?
Yeah, I'm probably going to get emotional for this one because, of course my family, knows, and they're so proud of me because they've seen the transformation. But I think the biggest one, it was our last gala. I'm recently engaged, and
congratulations.
Thank you.
That's exciting.
My fiance at the time, he was my boyfriend, came to the gala, and I was up on stage, and so I got to share my story, and he has witnessed a lot of my before and my current, but not really like too much of my employment here, and just me in the program and the things. And so just being like raw, authentic, and vulnerable up there was hard for me. But when I got down, it was just, you could tell he was crying, and he was just like, wow, you're just so transformed, and I'm just so proud of you. Like, I have seen you from here, and I see you here, and I'm just so proud to be with you, you know? And I just thought like, wow.
What a stud. I love
I'm like,
it.
no, nobody's ever said that to me, you know, besides of course my family, but just being able to see me at face value is beautiful, and me, you know, spiritually and all the things. And so it's amazing.
I love any time a woman is chosen. Like that's what I see with that story, is just that he looked at you and was like, I choose you. You rock. Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
You said your gala, is that a yearly
That's
like
right.
fundraiser?
Yes,
that
and
you
it's
guys do. What do you do?
Yes, so this is the largest opportunity that we have to be able to come and support the women in our program. We will try to fundraise all of the wages for the incoming women that will come into the program in 2027. So our gala will be on October 24th at the Hapo Center. It's an incredible event with live art and beautiful food and drinks, and we have an incredible musician coming, Megan Tibbett. She's going to be playing the harp and the guitar. She's a singer and songwriter, as well as you will hear incredible stories of women survivors, graduates that have come through our program. I will also share more of my story at the gala, and my husband will share a little bit of his story. So it's a beautiful night, and I hope everyone can get their tickets before they sell out.
Oh, awesome. We'll put a link to your website. Could they find information about the gala there?
Yes, they can. Thank you.
No, we can totally do that. You mentioned your husband again and his story. So if he has a history and an understanding of this world as well, and you two co-founded together, when you went to him, I don't want to make up the story, but when you went to him in 2020 with this idea, or the conversation between the two of you, how did that go? Did you have to talk him into anything, or was he right on board with you? Or because this is a huge life change to run a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Is that too personal? You don't have to answer it if you
it's
don't want
not. I mean, so Jesus saved Devin and I out of very broken lives. I'll speak for my own life, but his is very similar, that we grew up in deep poverty and surrounded by addiction, being introduced to drugs at a very young age, and then struggling with homelessness and incarceration, and my self-exploitation at a young age, which took us to the streets. And then God just continued to bring people into our lives to show us that he was real, and we just couldn't deny the hand of God moving to just show us that he was real and he loved us. And so we looked at each other, and I was in my 20s, and we just said to each other, you know, we were homeless together on the streets with a baby. And my husband looked at me and said, I feel like there's a God and he's doing something, and we need to figure out who he is. And I just said, yeah, I agree. And so we found some really safe people that loved God. And they actually tenderly shepherded us. For years, they discipled us and they poured into us. And I am so grateful for those faithful, obedient people. They didn't do anything miraculous. They just invited us into their homes, loved us and fed us and answered all of our questions about God, and discipled us with parenting, and just kind of taught us a new way of living that we didn't know. And we just said, we're all in with God. We understood the depths that he rescued us from, the pit of despair, it says in Psalm 40, that God pulled us out of the mud. And we have always just said, we're all in with God, whatever he wants for us. So we've been on this journey with Jesus for a long time. But when we moved here, we had been missionaries in a rural area. And so 400 people in that town. And it's beautiful.
Tiny. That's tiny.
But when we moved to the Tri-Cities, it was just a bigger population. So we were really able to just start expanding our outreach services and just work into the heart of what we do. So my husband was preaching at the men's shelter right here in this building, actually.
Oh my goodness.
On Sunday nights. And
Little did he know.
Yeah, and I was serving at the women's shelter. And so he has a culinary background. So we've always been passionate about bringing food and the Lord together. And so when I came with this vision, he said, yeah, let's do this thing. He's all in.
And that totally makes sense to me. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, I would say if I would have known how hard it was going to be, there in the beginning, I probably wouldn't have said yes. I'm just being real and vulnerable, because it has absolutely changed my whole life in the most beautiful ways, but it has also changed my whole life in the hardest ways. This is the hardest thing I've ever done in my life.
I can't even wrap my head around how big your organization's got, and I never thought of it that way before, that there's mercy in not knowing the end from the beginning sometimes.
That's a great
That's
way to
interesting. Put it. I'm going to think about that too for a little bit.
I love that analogy. God protects us from seeing the whole picture because we never step into these things and say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine like if he showed us the whole picture of parenting, from parenting an infant to when we're parenting these adult children, and that's such hard years and beautiful years too. If we saw that whole picture, we'd say, I'm not walking into that journey.
That is terrifying. It's terrifying. But parenting's interesting because I would assume that there is a natural growth into a maternal relationship with some of these women, because they probably do need that maternal relationship. How is it when, I'm sure they don't all stay at first, or I'm sure the path is not smooth in a straight line to get them through that 18 months or whatever. Does that break your heart? Do they know that the door's wide open? Like, would you like to speak to some of that emotional burden that you carry, or we can move on as well?
I can speak on that. I mean, even I've said just, to Amanda, sometimes I'll talk to her and just say like, my heart is breaking right now, because you see the potential in these women. And, we all fall. Like, I mean, it took me almost 15 years to get where I am right now. And so just seeing, just some backsliding or these things, and it's not what you see for them. Again, we're protected from the entire picture. And so, it hurts, because you just want them to experience what they deserve. So I'd say it hurts.
Do a few of them come back?
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It just takes a few times.
Yeah, no, they come back. Like, and yes, they
Bless
come
their
back.
hearts.
And you would think that they wouldn't. Like, I've experienced personally myself, like, leaving treatment and not wanting to come back just because I left that place. But there are women that have, something has happened, they've left, and they come back. Not once, but twice. Like, they will come. And that is the craziest thing for me. I'm just like, yes. And I'll tell them, like, I'm so proud of you. Like, yeah, it's amazing.
Because I can't imagine the stigma or the shame or the
Right.
anxiety that they have to set down to do that.
The bravery. It takes complete bravery and vulnerability.
That's awesome. Awesome's not the right word for it. I don't know what the right word for it is.
I love the bravery and the courage that Satara is speaking of these women. The women are what make this place so special.
Yeah.
It's not, the staff is incredible, but it's all of us together on this journey, paving the way for women to find freedom. And we have a friend who started a similar program. He's been doing this work for 30 years, and he gave us some great advice as a staff, and he said, you just say yes as much as you can and continue to offer doses of kindness, and they'll come back every time. And so we give a dose of kindness. Maybe that's water, or we're a ride or a bus ticket, and these women, they just keep showing up. Maybe they're not even ready to walk in the doors yet, but they're receiving the doses of kindness, and we see them continue to come back to our doors. And we'll just be ready for them, ready to receive them when they're ready.
A few months ago, as a podcast, we got to have a conversation up in Spokane with the Ronald McDonald House, and one of the phrases that they use in their board meetings is, how do we get to yes? And that feels like that's what you're speaking to too. And I love that because it shows a pattern of optimism with the door wide open. Like, how can we make this door as big as possible for you to tiptoe through?
Yeah,
Maybe,
yeah. In the Gospel of John, I just love the story of blind Bartimaeus, because he's there laying on the roadside and he's calling out to Jesus, and then Jesus says, "Bring him to me." And then he looks at the man and he says, "What do you want me to do for you?" what do you want me to do for you? Jesus is asking us this question. And so we're also, you know, considering that as we're ministering to these women, you know, like you said, the choice.
Empowering with choice.
Empowering the choice for them.
Is there a pattern you see with the women that are successful? And I don't even care if it's the first time or the 10th time. What are the patterns that you see, or what is the growth steps that you see that, like, if they can accomplish this and accomplish this and accomplish this, that's a good solid path for success? Is success the right word? I guess so. I mean, successful living, yeah.
I'd say the biggest thing is like just their attitude. Like you can tell, and that's what I share with this one particular participant is that, wow, your attitude is completely different from the first time I met you. And I can tell like you are just ready, you know, to take full reins over your life. And yeah, she's like, yes, I am. Like, you know, thank you for acknowledging that. Like you can see it. And so
you almost want them to be like, get out of my way, let's go.
Yeah, and they are, you know, like you don't, a lot of them, you don't even have to say this is like the next thing we're doing. They're asking you, you know, and it's like, okay, that's how we know that they're going to be just fine, you know, and it's very rewarding, very beautiful.
Do you find that as well, Amanda?
Yes, absolutely. We see that show up in their attitudes, but I do think it comes back to the Spirit of God working in their lives. Ezekiel 36:26 talks about that the Lord can remove a heart of stone and replace it with a heart of flesh. That means a spiritual surgery that happens, and that's speaking even to their value, that they are starting to step into the value of who God has created them to be. And so we're really passionate about helping women to see that they have a seat at the table and they have a space in every room they show up in. Because most of the women that we serve, and even speaking for myself for so many years, I didn't think I had a seat at the table, and I didn't have a voice, and I didn't have the confidence. And I'm not talking about a confidence that comes from ourselves. I'm talking about a confidence that comes from the living God who created us, made in his image. And so when we are walking in that type of just confidence, knowing who we are as dearly loved children of God, and these women start showing up in spaces, walking into interviews saying, actually, I have a lot to offer here. Can I tell you about myself and, you know, where I've been and my lived experience and what I've survived, and I'm going to be a great asset to this company. So you should hire me right now.
Oh, I love it. I'm hearing a lot too of the wonderful employees that you have here, the service volunteers that you have here, and a lot of them have gone through the program, and it totally makes sense to me because they understand the world and the mentality and the hurt and the emotions of everything going on in your awesome rooms. If I'm a member of the community and I would like to volunteer here, do I need that background to volunteer? Is there a way I can help? And it's okay to say it's helpful or not helpful, for sure. But how can I help? How can I volunteer? How can I support Grace Collective?
So there are many ways to support Grace Collective, and yes, we are always actively pursuing volunteers. If you're going to volunteer in an active role alongside the women we serve, obviously there's going to be some background checks and some more training and conversations that we will need to have. But then there are a lot of volunteers that actually come to us through Just Serve, and they show up on our outreach day and they provide a lunch. We're also really looking to expand that to provide breakfast every Thursday. We're serving between 30 and 40 women every Thursday that are walking through our doors. So providing that warm meal, showing up that way, gathering your small group, collecting hygiene items, coming and changing light bulbs, organizing, cleaning our facility, praying for us, walking through these doors and just praying over this building even when the women aren't here, decorating the lockers, sending encouraging notes. There's so many opportunities to get involved, and so you can go to gracecollective.com/volunteer and you can fill out that form and we will get back to you.
Oh, that is awesome. Did you have anything you wanted to add to that?
No, that's great.
Okay, awesome. Is there anything that you wish the community better understood? Stigmas with the wonderful women that you serve that you wish would go away, or something that you just wish was better understood?
I need to think on that.
No, it's totally fine. I totally threw it out there.
I think that, there's a big stigma on reentry in general, because you see women or males.
Re-entry into the world, re-entry into Grace Collective.
Re-entry into the world, just from survival mode, out on the streets, all of that, or incarceration or addiction, but going back and just becoming a member of society, there's so much stigma on that. Or people like, oh, you've been in jail all these times and like now you're not going to be able to have a real job, which is not true at all. And like you just see these women that are like, we have a graduate who's an esthetician, we have graduates who are peer support advocates for children with special needs. It's just crazy. And so, I would say just the stigma, just being able to get out there that reentry is possible. It happens every single day.
Yeah, hope is so possible. And we're so quick to just place judgment on somebody instead of actually trying to understand their stories.
Right.
And I think if our community operated in a way where we took the time to understand a person's story, we would have a way better picture about, this is how they got to this space. This is why they are the way they are. And they're alone in this process. And how can we as a community come around, rally around this person and help them rise up into freedom?
I think one of my last questions I'm feeling is if you would like to speak to moving forward and looking into the future, as much as God will allow you to see, whatever that is. What worries you and what excites you? I'm just throwing them out there. I know these are just.
We're both going to answer.
Yeah, you totally can.
Great.
You totally can.
I'm wondering if our answers are going to be very similar.
Actually, I was wondering if they'd be the same answers or different answers.
I love it.
My brain is just like, I am so. Because we're a nonprofit,
growing so fast.
Because we're a nonprofit, I'm always worried about funding. Like, we just need the support from our community. I was just telling my fiance out in the car, I'm like, the biggest thing is that it takes, roughly $30,000 just for one girl. Times that by 17
for the
women.
year,
for the year,
program,
for the year.
Okay.
So and roughly probably a little bit more, but that's just for one. Times that by 17, and we'd like to have more women than 17. So that's my biggest worry, is just like, how? But we do, and it happens, think by the grace of God, we are still flying. What was the last part? What's my biggest?
What are you excited about?
I'm just excited for all the new women that will come into our program. I'm excited for the new women, the new family, the new kiddos, just like the rebirth of that family is beautiful. I'm excited for.
Because you gave the number, you have roughly 17 women going through the program at once, but I know you're serving more than that a year.
Yeah.
So those are just the women that are in the program itself, getting their feet on solid ground and walking forward. But about how many women a year do you serve?
So our data was a little over 700 women walked through our doors last year. And again, not all of those women are going to be ready.
Right.
They're going to meet with Satara, an advocate, and they're going to be working on, signing up for some housing or getting to detox or just stopping by to get a bus pass, because that's what they can do for this day, and that's okay.
For sure.
But
and Grace Collective helps serve all of that, like getting them connected with the right people.
Yes, we are a very holistic program for women survivors.
Amazing.
We're a very low barrier approach for women to be able to walk in our doors and receive the services from wonderful advocates like Satara, to meet them right where they are at until they are ready to become an employee of Grace Collective and enter into more accountability within our job training program.
So, and I was actually just thinking in my head just now, all you've got to do is just get through the door. But then I kind of started laughing in my head, because Satara, you didn't even get through the door
No.
when you started. They went and found you.
Yeah.
I love the image of that.
Yeah, and that's the beautiful, thing about where we're located is because, I mean, now, like, a lot of women just walk up to our door, but a lot of the girls go out for a smoke break across the street and they see someone and they're like, hey, you should come here on Thursday. Or they're in Oxford and they're telling all their Oxford roommates there. And then they show up. And then same with mental health court or any other place. The women in jail, I go to the jails on Fridays and I'm speaking to the women, providing case management in there. And they come when they're released and they show up. And so, yeah. I mean, I myself stayed at the homeless shelter. I told every single girl in there, so it's just, they are spreading the word. The women in our program are spreading the word. And yeah, it's like
Just
they don't even
reminder after reminder after reminder after reminder, we're here. That's amazing. I wanted to get to you, Amanda. What worries you, what excites you, or to be honest too, we're getting to the end of our conversation. Anything you want to speak to that we haven't yet, please.
Sure.
The time is yours.
The things that have worried me are similar to what Satara says, but my focus is really that we always want to have the capacity to be able to welcome the women in who really need us. We have seen it be a life or death situation. Actually, three gals, were lost to addiction or death in other ways last year. So hiring a woman into a program can be a life or death situation for them. Going back to being able to invest in their life every day and have those touch points with them and their children will change their lives. So it costs a lot from our community to invest in the wages of the women, but it is a worthwhile investment when these women are able to enter into this space. And truly for 18 months, we are asking our community to step up and come alongside us as a monthly financial partner or volunteer their services or provide a breakfast or attend our beautiful gala. And that really is paving the way for so many women, creating this space and the capacity to be able to continue to welcome women in. And through that, we will see cycles of generational trauma and abuse and trafficking, human trafficking in our city. These are broken through this program. Human trafficking really is an economic crisis. And in order to combat human trafficking in our city, it requires an economic response. And that is where we step in through our paid job training programs. The things that I am really excited about and my team is really excited about and the things that we are working at is expanding our capacity. So last year, the Lord blessed us with a second building debt-free. We are currently renovating that space and we are seeking volunteers to walk alongside us to continue those renovations. We have an aggressive plan to move in next month to our new outreach center. Through that, our current existing space on 2nd Avenue is turning into the beautiful Grace Cafe, Coffee, and Ethical Marketplace. We believe in a big vision of all women free from poverty and exploitation. So within these walls in our current space, we're opening a beautiful cafe with wonderful food and coffee where we're supporting women who grow coffee in other countries. And you're going to be able to come in and experience some of this. And also the ethical marketplace. Right now, we have boxes and boxes of products. Women from Dominican Republic who were rescued out of trafficking who have sewed purses. And women from Rwanda who have survived a genocide and now are harvesting essential oils, creating these beautiful lotions and candles. And so when you come and shop this ethical marketplace, which is run by survivors and also creating more jobs for the women in our program, you are actually supporting a global movement of women's freedom right here in the Tri-Cities. So we are really excited about the expansion and all the partnerships that we're being able to support globally who are doing this work in other countries. And you can shop those products here at Grace Collective when our store opens, as well as the new outreach center, which will expand our capacity to be able to increase the number of women that we serve.
I'm trying to process all of that right now. That's amazing. I cannot wait to see it. Okay. She just whispered that I get to see it. So sorry, this is an audio podcast. Thank you so, so much. But before I close, I mean, is there anything else that you would like to say that we haven't yet? I just want to give that opportunity. I feel like we've had a full conversation, but I don't want to assume.
I just want to say thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to, get out there and be seen and be heard.
Oh, that's our job. It's just absolutely our pleasure.
Yeah, I just want to just on camera talk about Satara.
Please,
And
yes.
the incredible resilience and just the person that she is, and how valuable she is, and just the incredible asset she is to this organization, and how I continue to see her grow in the tremendous gifting that she has and the capacity that she has, as I see her step up administratively and move more into this community-based worker role, and all the ways she continues to show up. Like, this is miraculous work that only the Lord can do. And I can say that about my own life as well. And praise God that he rescued us and he gives us gifts, as it says in Ephesians 2:10, for us to walk into. And so thanks for Satara for just saying yes and being faithful on this journey with me. I love you.
I love you.
I love it so much. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. For the community listening, please support Grace Collective. It's just an amazing place to be. And even sitting here, I'm trying very hard not to tear up, because there's so much love in these walls. And we encourage you to go to their website, gracecollective.com. And also there will be some places to serve as well on justserve.org. But wherever you can serve and wherever we can help a woman feel valuable in this community, that is holy work. And we just so appreciate you speaking with us today. And we just think you're the best. So, and when your cafe opens and your gala in October, we look forward to supporting you.
Yes.
Thank you so much for
thank
having
you.
us,
Yeah,
and
thanks
thank you for the tremendous support from Just Serve, as well as our partnership in the Giving Machine.
Oh, that giving machine is cool.